Hello people of YouTube, and welcome back to a new episode of Why I Love Movies. For those of you who do not know, in this series I take a look back at my favourite movies of all time and talk about specific scenes or elements of the film that stick with me, as well as some personal memories along the way. Today, I will be talking about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. While I don't have a review of this film, I do have a ranking list of every Spider-Man movie, and that should tell you everything you need to know about my thoughts of this film. I am a long-time fan of the Raimi trilogy, and for the longest time they were my go-to Spider-Man movies. But then this released. I had seen no trailers, only the occasional poster, and for all intensive purposes I had written it off. But then the reviews started rolling in. A friend of mine who watches this channel asked if I had seen it. I had not, but it was that question that made me decide to see what the fuss was all about. And the rest was history. I loved this movie, and when it went on to sweep the animated category during award season, I was very much over the moon. This film did something so simple that many films, especially these days, have tried but failed to accomplish. It gave us a diverse cast of characters that all felt unique and special in their own ways. Many films these days try to force in inclusive characters, and in the movie world this is more often a colossal failure than a success. Spiderverse managed to not only give us this cast, but also made them feel integral and unforced. We have Miles Morales, a mixed race Spider-Man who I will delve into further in the next segment. Gwen Stacy, known in movies for being Peter Parker's girlfriend, comes out as this purely badass Spider-Gwen, another comic property not widely known in popular culture. Spider-Noir, voiced amazingly by Nicolas Cage, being a character from a bygone era and delivering us some of the best lines in the movie. Penny Parker, bringing anime influence into this western story, and Peter Parker, a slapstick bit of comic relief that definitely leads into the more camp Spider-Man era. And we even get two Peter Parkers, one who has aged more than the other, both reflecting different parts of Spider-Man's personality. The team of Spider People all have the unique quirks, motivations and backgrounds neatly packaged in little comic skits, each one being an essential part of the team. Even the villains are packaged perfectly. Kingpin, accurate to comic design, being the big antagonist, is given sympathy points. Despite all the horrid stuff he does, we can see why he is so driven, which is how the best villains work. And Olivia Octavius, those who grew up with the Raimi trilogy think of Doc Ock as a male, yet the way she is revealed is both brilliant and cleverly done, and I didn't question it at all. And the Prowler, well, let's just say they are a core component. This cast of characters is fantastic, without a single individual wasted. Every character is there for a purpose or a reason, something that many ensembles struggle to do. And I'm just gonna say it, Spider-Verse Aunt May is the best Aunt May. As promised, it is time to talk about Miles, the new Spider-Man. At this point, we have had 6 Spider-Man movies with Peter Parker, with a 7th one coming out after this was released. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, that's all my generation knows. Who is this Miles Morales? When asking my more die-hard comic fan friends, the general consensus was that he was a less popular Spider-Man. Going with Miles was a big risk for Sony, but what they managed to achieve with Miles is great. From our first introduction of this carefree kid, we see him go through many issues that we can relate to. A common theme is his estrangement from his father, how he feels constantly under pressure because of how smart he is, only able to express himself through graffiti art and talking to his Uncle Aaron, who is voiced brilliantly by Mahershala Ali. His reluctance to go all in with his newfound powers is a symbolic testament to the pressure he feels every day. There is a reason the spider bite is so underplayed in this film. Being bitten does not make you automatically Spider-Man. A young Peter Parker offers to help him before the unfortunate setup for the second act, when Miles meets a more aged Spider-Man, whom I like to think of as the Raimi Spider-Man, just a little bit older. This Peter Parker is bitter, tired and worn down, a mirror as to the stress and pressure of being Spider-Man. His struggle to activate on command can be interpreted several ways, and all that leads down to his insecurities, the pressure he puts on himself. When we first meet him, he just wants to live an easy life with no pressure, and the only reason he pushes so hard is because of the promise he made and the thought that he has to. When he loses the one person who he could really open up to, it is heartbreaking. His drive comes from the most unlikely of places, a wordless conversation with his father, giving us one of the most heartbreaking moments. That, for me at least, hits close to home. Eventually he takes the leap, not because he has to, but because he stops hiding from himself. He doesn't want power, he doesn't want greatness, and has spent years hiding from his potential. And to cap it all off, when he drops Peter Parker back home, delivering wisdom to the Master, you can't tell me this wasn't Peter Parker symbolically passing the torch. This film gave us a likeable kid with relatable problems and showed their journey from a kid who hides to an adult who will step up. And with that, Sony gave us our new Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Now, I have scenes that stick with me, what I like to call golden scenes. Spiderverse provides one of these. The leap of faith scene. What can I say about this that hasn't already been said? The chills I got for this 2 minutes of cinema are indescribable. For me, a golden scene is where every element of a film can be summed up in one particular scene that sets the tone for the remainder of the film, where the scene blends editing, soundtrack, cinematography, and is directed so well with symbolic gestures and little nods to everything that has come before, to take everything we know up until now and crank it up to 11. This is one of those scenes. The song What's Up Danger, its slow beat acting as a steady heartbeat, symbolic of Miles' adrenaline, the quick brief cutaways to show him acquiring the outfit, Aunt May waiting for him, knowing that he was going to step up, having made him some web shooters, the voices in Miles' head, from his dad, his mother, Uncle Aaron, and finally Peter Parker, all people that can see his potential that he's been hiding from. The bluntness of the leap of faith line delivered by Peter as the music slows. Miles leaps off the building, glass coming off where his hands were. It is established early thanks to Gwen that to stop sticking to stuff, he's got to relax to release. The fact the glass broke off shows he had to really push himself to take that leap, that he is terrified of doing it. There is no guarantee he will survive this jump. Then we have the slow inverse of the city, showing Miles rising, him raising to his potential. And to cap it all off, the music kicking in. It is at this moment he stops being Miles Morales and becomes Spider-Man, throwing his parkour swinging, displaying he is not just Peter Parker 2.0 but his own Spider-Man. This whole scene just takes everything we have seen so far, blended it together and given us one of the most triumphant scenes in cinematic history. And this scene is very symbolic of Sony's risk with this film. During the boom of the MCU and the previous Spider-Man efforts failing horribly, to tell an animated story of all these unfamiliar comic properties, to give us the less popular Spider-Man as our protagonist. By all intents and purposes, this film had no right to be as good as what it was. There are several things I can talk about with this film. The art style, the symbolism, the Easter eggs, the dialogue. But I should really round this video off. All I'm going to say is, like Miles, Sony took a leap of faith. And I think we can agree that, like Miles, Sony rose to their potential. And that is why I love Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This is why I love movies. Hey, thank you for watching and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more views coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.